Today is Monday. Good afternoon. Um, I see it's been about a good four 4 days, I believe, 5 days, almost close to a week since I last quit my job. I'm still pretty shocked about it. I still got a lot to feel about it. I still have yet to broke the news to my grandmother. I still haven't really processed it on my end just yet. Um, yeah, that's very depressing. Very depressing to leave via 313 Pizzaria like that. Um, I've been there for a whole year. I feel like there's just a lot of things I can really say. I try not to really let it be corrupted, but for someone that uh, sat there and applied in the beginning and of April of last year, I really sought out to learn as many positions as I could as quickly as possible. I remember me and my grandmother, we were just constantly just praying. I was constantly praying that I was going to get a job there. I haven't, around that time, things wasn't going well for me. Everyone has a story. So I was pretty much really down. So when that time happened, I really told her, and I told that person that hired me that, hey, since I do have my birth certificate, I didn't know my grandmother had it the whole time. So spiritually speaking, I really told her and myself that I was gonna really make it worth it for that 1 week waits. And yeah, I feel like I believe I did because, like I said, I learned everything so quickly. I had the trainers there. We had one that was from Utah. She was a really good trainer. I really liked her. I low-key wanted to be her, be like her a little bit. So it was the training that I wanted to be. I wanted to go very far there. I wanted to have a career there and grow there, be as far as general manager. Despite I know how much it would take to get there. I understand that. I'm 28 years old. I've been working jobs since I was 17, and if I didn't go to school, I went to work, and I'm not going into that detail. But um, I've all learned the ins and outs on that one. Is just pretty on some personal things that I felt that held me back. Like I said, I kind of don't want to go into that detail, but um, honestly, I really felt that it can really make me feel better if I really just spoke about some things that went on in in my experience. And yeah, my heart is beating. I don't want to exaggerate. I don't want to lie. I'm not perfect. I had my shortcomings. I was late at times. There are days that I did call off. But as Lord is my witness, that barely happened. And the only time that happened was in August when I got into a wreck. And really and truly, I'm close. I closed that case. I wasn't going nowhere with that thing. So it's not y'all's fault or anyone's fault. But I felt like a little bit more mercy could have been on my end because I also had a family member bringing me to work if I was on morning shift. I do believe that there are some things that I probably did made it hard for myself, but I really felt like after one person left, another general manager came in, and he was from Webster. I was working only 2 days a week. I only had four 4 to 8 hours. I felt like I had to make myself known to him just in case. I was very stressed around those times, um, trying to trying to figure out how I can put it to my family member that getting me there 15 minutes, 10 minutes, you're pushing it, buddy. I never really been late like that. And when I had my own transportation, I was always there. And I see they used to let me clock in 10 minutes. And I don't think that's supposed to happen, to be honest. So I really had it going for me until disaster struck. I was really in depression mode for that, leading up all the way to our one year anniversary. I For all of the bad things that was happening, I was getting complimented. I was getting told that I was asking if I can just, is it okay? I can bounce up the trainer. I wanted to be shift lead. I wanted to be high. I at least had 3 or 4 people there talking with me. They saw the potential there. I done learned 2 stations at the same time. I done did expo and salad at the same time. I Every single day I spoke with my grandmother. So, and I was happy there, and I loved it there. I didn't. I When I was on ovens, I tried to 100% it. No pans, no nothing. My mentality was if I didn't get at least 2 stations done before someone comes in on their shift, I failed. I always put fire into myself that no one didn't understand, because I literally had a lot on my shoulder because of the fact that you guys waited a week for me, and I said I must catch up. I did. It was just the fact that I think after the wreck, everything happened. This specific person was getting called, and you know, once he got there, I have to admit, I felt like I felt like everyone forgot about me, and I'm experiencing cuttings. I'm experiencing. I They already knew what I was going through. It's just that now that we have some people leaving and we have a new general manager, he doesn't really know. But I will have to sit here and say that um, he did help out on some things. I'm not gonna really speak down on him because eventually I went from 4 to 8 hours to 11 to 15 hours with him, but it still financially wasn't enough for me, and I was I was just frustrated. I was just depressed. I even just kept hearing it at home. He's just like, you're just not making nothing at all. And I'm like, Mom, I understand that. And look, yes, I know, I understand. We got things. I'm not going into detail, but I've eventually, basically, told myself that eventually, maybe things would change for the better. It took at least about 5 months of that, 4 months of that for me to see a difference. I still have I took pictures of all of my hours. I can always go back to my ADP and even shows that it was even times where I felt like I was getting targeted. I felt like they kept me there, even at the days that I was showing up. It's just that, I was a little bit, you could see it in my face that sometimes that you can see something was going on with me. I was always also critiquing myself every single day, so that also played a role into it. I didn't like that I would sometimes have a little frown on my face because it was just that stressful. to go through what I experienced. And then deep inside, I already knew that I was kind of being spoken about too. And that hurt me even more because I was just like, you try your best to do so try to be try your best to be perfect for so long. You get into a wreck that you couldn't even control, and now you have a family member, and they're mostly dominating that vehicle, and I have to wait. And I did what was best for me, and was to go to night shift. Months later, I eventually did get to 21 hours. I couldn't, and it wasn't still enough, but it was better than 11. Eventually, I feel like because of the grit that I showed, and I was coming back and forth, I was coming on time, I was showing up, I wasn't calling off. They were starting to see that. I was like, I wasn't trying to make it hard for anyone. I really felt like the positions, my old positions that I wanted to try, I was blacklisted from it. I was blackballed from it. It hurt me even more because I already knew it. And then I started seeing every other people getting where they wanted to be, and I was getting sitting behind. And I was even telling that person like this is what it was going on. And I'm kind of I'm here right now, yes, but I have to admit to you, man, I'm pretty hurt. I think everybody turned on me, man. And it was like they just think that I just do this on purpose, and really, I really don't. I I always communicated this. I even still have my old hospital notes that my old emergency notes that it did say that I do have some days off, and it they put my schedule as like 1 or 2 days a week. And as you was coming in, that's when I'm just thinking to myself, I feared that you don't even know who I am. You can really let me go. So that stressed me out even more, and it didn't make it any better with people saying negative things about me. And I felt now, with him being here for a bit, I felt that now the favoritism was showing, and everyone getting into deep relationships and close relationships. I started noticing that around October, and yet I was still lying at 21 hours while everyone else was kind of getting more than that. And I I I really caught myself trying to dig deep, and I I just tried to figure it out. I just tried to figure it out, and he doesn't really know me. Like I said, it's like he may look and like I can see you have good work ethic. Like, of course I do. I I'm sorry if I sound any type of way, but I really had it, but I lost it because of a car wreck. And next thing you know, slowly but surely, I started losing every single thing in front of me, even my positions, and that was depressing me even more. They was replacing me with people, and they was putting me where they wanted me to be, and I saw it, and I was getting even more depressed, and it was showing on my face a little bit, and they saw it too, and that's when I was also getting on myself too, because if they keep looking at that, they're gonna also keep using that against you. So if you ever want to make a step up, I promise you, man, I really tried my best. I've been through so much there that I, I, I really hate the fact that I quit, because there were times where I even walked to work, I walked home from work, I never called off. I've actually cried about that 2 days ago because I was actually, I couldn't help it, but I couldn't help it but to tell God that I was a failure for that. And like, I really feel like I really feel like I'm a failure for that. I really, I had 4 hours and I didn't quit. I fought against my own, I fought, I defended them. I defended via 313, and I'm not here to try to down anybody, Otherwise, I could just sit here and just be super toxic and be like, oh, they do this, they do that. And it was like, no, man. Like, I really witnessed y'all let y'all best people go, and y'all swirled around that favoritism. Even the back of that, even the employee of the months, it was all getting catered to servers. But people are getting slammed in the back. They're doing everything. They're doing three, some do two positions at a time, and they don't get recognition. Y'all are verbally telling us that we're doing good and then give us a pizza. That's cool, but I wanted to step up and try to get the trainer. I've been there for a whole year and I wasn't even a trainer yet. But yet everybody else became trainers. I wanted to become shift lead. I did everything I could. I stayed on top of temp checks. I Sometimes they wasn't even on top of temp checks. Sometimes I'm hearing them saying that, yeah, man, we got hit. That we're getting behind on temp checks. I would make sure, because if I'm getting written up, I would make sure. If we're failing the health inspection, I would make sure. If we need to clean and do this, do that, I would make sure. I did everything that I could, and I just kept just getting spoken to. And it's like, well, and I see it. Yes, you haven't been late. I noticed you've always been in. There's always a spirit tells me like, bro, I can get here. It's just that it's not my fault that sometimes Lyft can make me 5 minutes late, all because of the traffic. And even then, it told me that I wasn't even gonna be 5 minutes late. I can't tell them to. I can't tell them to run that light. I can't tell them to do that. I'm literally right there. Even times before you, buddy, I was getting cut midway at work by that Pacific GM. As he was telling me before that it's not fair for that person to already be called and woken up because you called off because you felt like you wasn't going to be able to make it, just for me that next day to make it halfway, literally right there, just for that person to call me off. And my mother heard that. My mother was right there. And I said, bro, I'm literally right there. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I just got a replacement for that day. And it was like, you talking about a while back that wasn't fair. Here I am, and you're doing that to me. You're cutting me way before I'm halfway to you guys. And that's when my mother just it was hard to get her to I had to get off a morning shift, and it was much better to deal with things in the afternoons, to sit there and deal with things in the morning. I just woke up, and I'm not trying to argue, and I'm definitely not trying to feel some type of way before work. I got things I got to do. I got goals that I'm trying to achieve. I want to go up there. I want to be the best that I can be. Me and my grandmother, we're in on this, and and like I said, around at least around October, I really started to notice that a lot of people's relationship was getting very tight, and that's when I still tried to, around that time, tried to get a step up. And like I said, I had everything completed, DPA, I had everything completed. I had all my back of the house trainings, that one was completed. I had everything completed. Before I even left, I completed. And let me tell you, I did leave. Um, it was Thursday. I couldn't do it no more. Like, my heart wasn't there. I kept going to the bathroom. I just dropped to the ground. I literally kept asking God, man, what do I do? I don't know what this is, but it's we had a general manager, assistant general manager just left, and it seemingly he tried to get that, he tried to certify that one last person, and that was it for me. And I was like, guys, I've been here for a whole year, and I tried my best to go back and forth and come back and forth, and now you got servers that's basically saying things of me too, that I'm not even feeling comfortable, because that's when that also played a role in why I quit, because even if I wanted to go somewhere, I couldn't, because I realized that for a while they got some power too. And 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 because I feel like I've somewhat kind of spoken out against some of the favoritism, I caught some of that stuff out. even with that little manager, to the point where even back of the house, well, he was a shift lead and trainer. He fist bumped me in return. And I'm just thinking to myself, and I'm like, I don't think it's because you agreed with me. I think it's because you have a little issue with him. I told these fellas that like before I left that I told y'all I tried to step up for a long time. They said, well, we didn't know that. We didn't. Yes, y'all did. Y'all sat there and watched me get frustrated, used it against me, saw that I saw that, and used it against me even more. And even then, I still tried to call myself working there. I spoke with these people way more than I needed to the point that, yeah, I was quiet, and then I was getting even more frustrated because, like I said, I was seeing people getting where they was wanting to be. There's a whole new person with a trainer shirt, and he just been there for 2 months. I've been there for a whole year, and I have not received any of that. I'm not even trying to, like I said, sound bitter or anything. This is just my truth, my honesty, my opinion, that it was favoritism there, and I'm not about to sit here and keep feeling all bad and sad because, you know, like, I'm not perfect, and if I was ever looking some type of way on that ovens, I always check myself every time I got here to try to make a difference, to make a difference and be a difference. There was even times where I even tried to get myself accepted by all of you, and now everyone gets acceptance, but I got very emotionally invested into that position because, to be honest with you, I really felt like I had nothing else to do with my life. So I'm not trying to put in that story or nothing, but I just saying, like, I didn't have nothing else to do with myself but to just come here to be a 313, work, be the best that I be, and tell my grandmother at the end, have her proud of me, and have myself felt like I done did something with my life instead of letting it go to waste. But instead, I sat here and I stupidly quit. That's how I'm really feeling. And every time I haven't really broke the news to her, but I feel like out of all the things that I went through, I've left. And what saddens me the most is that they knew and they'll tell me that you are very good, but it seems like y'all only want me where y'all want me to be. And like, let's just say if I want to be on Expo for one night, y'all won't let me. If I want to be on Elvins, y'all won't let me. But I'll see that y'all let other people get on there, and they asked, and y'all would let them get on there. The only time I'll literally get on that oven position is when the original oven person is not there on a Sunday. So that's one day. But y'all used to have me on there every day. And the thing is that, as I said, slowly but surely, I started seeing myself going down at the bottom and seeing other people rising at the top to the point that they gotten 2 new shift leads. So, okay, cool. But now we got this assistant general manager. Before he left, he agreed that he was going to put me on other shift and we was going to try to start our training. That never happened. And he told me straight in my eye, in my face, okay, so if I do this, look, bro, I've been with you since the beginning. I know it. I know you're good. You're good at everything. I freaking love having you here. So if I'm going to do this, this is what I'm expecting, Jeremiah. And I was like, I know what you expect, bro. I'm ready. I'm wanting to do this. I told you. I've been coming here, back and forth. I'm always here, 5 to 10 minutes before there's no late. I don't want to be it. Yeah, I didn't reach it. He let other people get on there. And I sat there and I let him because I wanted him to see that this was your word that came out your mouth. I, as a man, don't need to remind you. And you let these people do it. And I just stayed quiet. I got a little frustrated. But I really tried I was working on not letting them see it. And I just felt like every time, and they knew that I was getting annoyed about that. And some would just ask me straight up. It was like, hey, you mind if I be on ovens? And I was like, I know why you want to be on ovens. You don't want to be on D-line and deal with all of this, don't you? Bro, I see that when most people get on this oven, they want to stay on it just to avoid D-line. And that's when I said in the beginning, people that don't want to do these things, I want to do it. And I want to see where it's going to get me. and then I want to do the things that they also want me to do too, and I want to destroy it, and I want to do everything, and I have done that, and all I've got was just, yeah, compliments, but I didn't get nowhere. So everything that I'm saying is not really an exaggeration. So even to the owners of Via 313, guys, I really loved working that job, that position. The job was very easy. It was just the people that was working there. It was managing it. I've literally witnessed all favoritism. Everybody, even a relationship was there. And 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 all I could just sit here and say is that I guess my hard work didn't get me nowhere. I didn't want to go up in there. I didn't want to talk to everybody, but I did. But I just wanted my hard work to be noticed, and it was. But it didn't get me nowhere. It basically told me you're only good as a worker, and you're only good to be right there. But to be where we're at, no. That's essentially how I felt like those two shift lead people was talking to me, especially when I just wanted to be on one little position, and that was just expo. Like, hey, can I be on expo? I mean, y'all did ask if anyone want to be on there, but because I asked that, they didn't want me on there, and that hurt my feelings, and I've been dealing with that for about 5 months. So, I, Jeremiah Sewell, if they told you that in Pearland, via 313, that I left out, this was just only the beginning. There's much more. I'm just afraid that it can come back down on other people and possibly get them fired because I'm in a heavy bad situation. I don't know yours.